wonder if in this case, I actually do wonder if like Balaam, Balak, and Ass and Angel all have some weird like play together. I don't know. I gotta dig out my Hebrew Bible. Maybe I can find it.
And
but,
out of the angel's mouth came
ass. Out of the angel's ass came another ass.
Came
with
my
six
ass.
eyeballs.
6 eyeballs, 7 mouths, 11 wings,
38 asses.
38 asses.
Not the donkey ass either. We're talking real ass.
I serve the God of angel, or the God of asses armies.
Just imagine every time angels use it, it's actually just supposed to be ass in the Bible. There's a horrible miscalculation.
I love that. Yeah.
The ass of the Lord.
And an ass appeared before Mary.
Do not be afraid of this ass.
Do not fear.
That's so stupid. We're really appealing to our 4th grade audience out there.
Dearly beloved, welcome to the Unblessed Podcast, where we inquire and exposit the mysteries of that ancient text, that good book itself, the Holy Bible. We are not theologians nor historians. We are but armchair philosophers who spent years in seminary or on a church staff and have since departed to make our own way. We invite you now to read, think, and laugh with us as we dive deep into the denominational doctrines of the divine in the Unblessed Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unblessed Podcast. My name is Evan.
And I'm Scott.
And we are 2X millennials. We're also millennials, which is
millennials.
Known for their fragrance and wine. Scott, did you dabble in the eschatological ways of the word?
Oh, just a little bit. I only made one wildly written down Word doc about the end times in college. So only one document written down for me.
Only one.
How many did you write down?
Only one.
I was highly concerned with it for a time in my life.
Yep.
So.
I think I was concerned with it as a child and then became less concerned the older I got. Like I was concerned after seeing The Stand by Stephen King for the first time. And then I was just like, well, I guess I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
And I was scared that Satan was going to come up from under my bed and kill me, and Gary Sinise wouldn't be able to save me. But,
didn't we all have that thought as kids? Where's Gary Sinise?
I need to know where Gary Sinise is right now, so
Mom,
if I'm in trouble, he can save me.
Where's my Gary Sinise doll?
It was my Gary Sinise waifu pillow.
Here you go, son. Waifu pillow. Yeah.
But I mean, as I got older, I became less and less concerned with it. I think even in my Christian days, my idea of the concept of the millennium. So when we talk about millennium in Christianity, what we're really talking about is the 1,000-year reign of Christ. Millennials are saying that is kind of happening already in heaven, distant. It's not a physical reign. Once you die, you go to heaven. But and that's a little bit of a part of it, I should say. But yeah, I never really thought that much about the end times.
Yeah, I don't remember, even though I was like a madman for a summer and like tried to get a formal opinion on the matter, I don't think I ever really landed on what I thought. And it makes sense because looking back, you're really just trying to predict the future and do what every like conspiracy theorist is trying to do, is like secure your future and make sure you know something other people don't.
My favorite thing ever is like these conspiracy theory pastors going out there and being like, the world's gonna end. World's gonna end, and then it doesn't. They're like, well, hold on. God told me.
Oh, I mixed something up. Yeah, sorry.
I mixed the numbers.
I carried a 4 where I shouldn't have, and
this walks us nicely into our icebreaker today, though.
Oh, okay.
Because there was an eclipse. Not this past week, but the week before. If you were in Middle America, maybe you got to see it. Did you get to see the eclipse?
I went out and caught a glimpse of it. Just baked my retina for a couple minutes out there, but it wasn't super covered in Wisconsin. So I think it said we had like 85 or 90% of the totality. So it got just barely twilighty for a bit, and then that was it.
I'll say it was freaking rad when I went to Indianapolis and saw it. I'd never seen anything like it. It was just like the sky was just, it looked like somebody just truly drew a white circle in an otherwise dark gray blue sky. It was bananas. And I could look directly at it.
And Evan's blind now, so that's why we're doing it.
I am. I'm really blind at it. But I needed my scientist wife next to me to tell me whether or not I could look at it, because I was like, is this safe? But while I was there, I saw, I think, the most unapologetically Midwestern street preacher I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, God.
He had like a sign that said like the end is near, but his total vibe was,
don't
but
talk
if
to
not,
him.
no worries. Like,
but if not, no worries.
I remember specifically, he was just like, there's going to be, the Bible says there are going to be signs. I'm not saying the eclipse is a sign.
But it could be.
But if you could, but you know, sometimes you need to make a decision about these kinds of things. And I was just like, man, like, have a little gusto.
I was gonna say, pick a side. Damn.
Like, do you have people are here to see a thing? Which I did heckle him while I was there, but I was just like, you're wrong, and then I walked away.
Ran away.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you get to be like, you don't get to have a microphone in a public place and interrupt other people's fine time.
Oh, I hate
without
that.
someone yelling back at you.
I can get beyond, like, I'm fine with people who put up like a little stand. I think the Jehovah's Witnesses. They'll put up the little stand and would just wait for those awkwardly stare at you at the red light, and then you can decide to roll down your window. But
I always think it's really fun to see their shift change.
Changing of the guard.
Yeah.
Just like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. They just like pamphlets, you know?
Exactly.
Switch them around. I can't stand.
Just remember, don't celebrate your birthday. All right. Bye.
No blood transfusions.
Don't read the unapproved material.
Oh, I could get. We'd have to talk about Jehovah's Witnesses sometime. That's an interesting branch. Christianity, and I mean,
I want to tell this one story about Jehovah's Witnesses. I was in college, and me and my buddy I guess we both got a Jehovah's Witness on their first fucking day, because he said he was at a gas station and he was like pumping gas, and this guy he looked up, this guy was staring at him like grinning ear to ear, and he was like, "Hi," and he was like, "Crazy weather we're having, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, I guess." And he
not really
finished like pumpkin. The guy was gone, and he saw like Watchtower Society pamphlet like around his thing. And then I had a similar experience, because I was like, man, it was 9:00 on a Saturday morning. I was asleep. I was in college, didn't have anything to do, and I heard some rustling in the living room, and I was like, what the hell? And I looked at my clock, and I was like, is someone trying to break into our house at 9 a.m.? And I like went to the front door, and I saw this piece of paper just going up and down and up and down and up and down. I was like, this is the worst burglar I think I've ever seen. And I opened the door, and it's this woman, and she's got this pamphlet, and it falls out of her hands. And I go, "Hi, can I help you?" And she picks it up, hands it to me, and runs away.
She's like, this will do all the talking.
Sure enough, it was a Jehovah's Witness.
Of course. I'm too nice of a person. I think I had one interaction with, I think a couple of ladies came to my door, and I talked with them for a couple minutes. I was trying to be polite. And as soon as I saw the pamphlet come out, I knew exactly what was going on. But I remember her asking me, like, is it okay if I come back tomorrow and like we can talk about like this pamphlet?
And you were like, how about this evening?
How about right now? I'm free. Here, take my watch. But I think I said like, oh gosh, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I should just been like a hard no. But I was like, oh, I don't know about that. And she was just like, great, I'll see you tomorrow. And then she came back the next day, and I just told her straight to her face. I was like, I'm not interested. I didn't read it. Please don't come back. Otherwise, this might get heated. Like, no, thank you. I've already made up my decision very clearly in my mind. Yeah. But street preachers, and I'm bundling in Jehovah's Witnesses because they're, technically part of that. I guess they're on the street and they are preaching, at least through the printed word.
Yeah.
But street preachers, like, it's a flex for them.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good. And then, like you mentioned, it's always, especially like the end times kind of preachers.
Yeah.
There's always a loophole. There's always like, well, that's not exactly what I was saying when it comes to predictions. You're like, oh, well, when God said, he was going to.
I was just saying that, like,
Saturday, I meant Sunday.
Maybe this could be the sign. And if it's not, I think that's great. But like, there will be. And why would you risk this not being the sign?
Yeah. I never understood why people try to predict the actual day and time when the Bible itself says, like, man will not know like the day or the hour Christ comes back. So it's like, why are you outside of that? I guess they think they're getting special messages from the Lord or whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I ever really did something like that. I mean, I just approached people weirdly in public as a Christian, but I don't think I did the full on street preaching. Did you ever do anything remotely close to that, Evan?
No.
I figured not. Dear God. Yeah.
Street preaching requires the same amount of misplaced self-confidence that catcalling requires.
I would have been an absolute menace to society in like the 50s if I was just like a construction worker, because I have that energy. I have street preacher energy. There would not been a cat uncalled in the 50s.
Hello, is this Sylvester the cat?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to log off my computer.
Don't call this number ever again. That's my stupid ass bit for the day.
I'm so glad you threw that
sorry.
impression. That was fantastic.
I will call the police.
No. God. Yeah. None of that. Well, speaking of animals, talking animals, perfect transition. What's our topic today, Evan?
Balaam's ass.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about
heavy
that
ass.
thick, heavy, juicy,
Voluptuous.
Judean ass.
Was the donkey Jewish? Is that allowed?
Not necessarily Jewish, but Judean.
Or
in the area of
Judean.
Judea.
That's true. I guess it could be in the area.
Yeah, area of Judea. Doesn't necessarily have to be Jewish.
You can be Jewish if your mother's Jewish. So maybe if the donkey's mother was Jewish.
The donkey itself had to get circumcised. They needed an extra big pair of scissors.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes, Balaam's ass. Or if you read the ESV, donkey.
Yeah. Or if you read the Holman Christian Southern Baptist version, donkey.
Or if you read the message, the get.
The cat. Yeah. Why would you do that to me?
Thank you.
All right. So a little bit of
Give us some
historical-
background. Yeah. Give us some background there.
Basically, there's this king named Balak. He's of the Moabites. And he
Oddly
sees
close to Balaam. Very close.
coincidence.
I think not.
Entirely. And he sees what the Israelites have been able to do to the Amorites, and so he.
What about the Am I Wrongs? I'm done. That's it.
we had a weird energy coming into this episode, and you're just experiencing the
I'm so sorry.
dredges of it.
Just keep going.
I'm so sorry. Balak, son of Zipper. Sorry. But Balak goes to his
Uncle Velcro
officials. His officials, and says, hey, there's a guy named Balaam. He's well known for being able to bless and to curse. He's just a blesser and a curser. Can you ask him?
Don't sneeze around him.
Can you? He'll bless you right out of your mind. I chew gazoon type.
He'll bless you so hard your toes are gonna curl.
Yeah. He says, go and ask him to curse the Israelites. And so they go, and they knock on his door, and he's like, hey, Balak sent us. He said to ask you to curse the Israelites. And Balaam's like, okay, I'll think about it. And then God goes, I don't think I want you to. And Balaam tells them, God doesn't think he wants me to. And they go, this is always the fun
God's a
narrative.
little iffy on this one.
The fun narrative to me always in these stories is like the people leaving.
I know, they're always defeated. Like, all right, we tried.
Well, I've done all I can do.
Let's go walk 7 days that way.
I asked him. I don't know what else to say. And so they go back and they tell Balak, yeah, guy said no. And so Balak sends more people to Balaam.
Because that always works.
Yeah. And in this case, it maybe did. I don't know. Because they go, hey, Balaam, we're here. We heard you said no before, but we're here to ask you to please reconsider. And Balaam said, well, there's no amount of gold. He could give me his own house. And it would not make me do anything against my God, great or small.
Wow.
But then he goes, but I won't go pray about it.
Yeah.
And so
Let me get back.
does. And so he does. And God goes, okay, go with them. But you have to do exactly what I say.
Ooh.
And Balaam's like, all right, now, come on now, God, let's cook.
Evan and Scott attempt to reach out to the Gen Z in this episode.
I know. With Gat and let's cook.
We have our whole list of vocab words over here we're trying to use.
Yep. So we'll start in verse 22. But God was incensed that Balaam was going, and the angel of the Lord took his stand on the path to oppose him. Balaam was riding his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing on the path with a drawn sword in his hand, she turned off the path and went into the field. So Balaam hit her to return her to the path. And the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow passage between the vineyards, the stone wall on either side. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord and pressed herself up against the wall, squeezing Balaam's foot against it. So he hit her once again. The angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she crouched down under Balaam, so he became furious and beat the donkey with a stick. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and she asked Balaam, what have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times? And Balaam answered to the donkey, you made me look like a fool. If I had a sword in my hand, I'd kill you now. 2 things.
Yeah.
1, how did Balaam not see what the donkey's seeing?
Yeah. How is he blaming the donkey in the situation? Sounds like he's in like some narrow passageway garden maze that he somehow put himself into. And his
Were people just not keeping their eyes on the road back then? Like, what's the deal? Like,
how big were roads back then? I mean, I know they weren't highways, but
no, but this is a narrow passage that is intended for neither the left or the right.
Yeah, he's getting squeezed all along it. My question, when it says that the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, do you imagine the donkey just to like open the mouth and the words come out and then that shuts? Or is it like a Jim Henson puppet and it just like, it's talking like a puppet to him and it's actually like forming
What
words?
have I done to you? Blah, 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 blah.
What does Evan's take? This is the important question I'm asking.
I do think it was it wasn't so much the donkey was speaking as it was the voice was coming out of the donkey.
Now, do you mean like an audible voice or just like he kind of looked at the donkey and it's like in movies when like people think like the dog's talking to him, but it's not, it's just kind of like a mental conversation between the two? Because perhaps it's like a Dr. Dolittle kind of situation, perhaps. Or perhaps it's like another situation, stalling. Sorry,
my cat got in here and I was trying to get her out. No, yeah, I think but for me, in the way that I read this and the way that I understood it was an audible voice. There's no reason for it not to be. Servants aren't people in the Bible. And so them being there is no real consequence to the story. So what I take it as is not the donkey itself talking, but the voice coming out of the donkey.
Okay. That's not as fun.
That's not as fun. I do think it is hilarious is if it's like Donkey from Shrek and just stands up and is just like, what have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times? But in Eddie Murphy's voice.
No Eddie Murphy attempt. I'm shocked.
None.
0.
Absolutely none.
All right, carry on.
Oh, wait a minute, everybody. Wait a minute.
I want to party all the time, ride my donkey all the time. I don't know. All right, keep going.
What was that?
Eddie Murphy's hit single in the 80s, Party All the Time.
Did he have a hit single in the 80s?
Yes. Eddie Murphy, Party All the Time. He had one song, and that was it. You got to look it up. He wears...
Party All the Time, song by Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, he's got his shades on. He's just in the studio. Eddie Murphy, Party All the Time.
Damn.
80s classic. At
Damn.
the height of Beverly Hills Cop, I think.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn.
He's a multifaceted man.
Multi-talented man.
Okay. So,
but the donkey said, am I not the donkey you've ridden all your life until today? Have I ever treated you this way before? No, he replied. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the path with a drawn sword in his hand. So I'm thinking maybe this is a quantum leap situation with Al. So for those of you who may be unaware or whatever, or for those of you who are unaware or Scott,
yes,
in the show Quantum Leap, you have the time traveling associate Al. So basically,
he's the one that helps Tim on his tool show, right?
Him in a sense, but Al can only be seen, if I'm remembering this correctly, by animals and certain people.
I've never seen a lick of Quantum Leap, so I believe you.
Just the way that is.
If you're looking for me for confirmation at that moment, I have no idea.
Just the way that it goes. So I'm thinking it's kind of that situation where that's why Balaam never saw the angel of the Lord to begin with, was because the angel of the Lord was hiding from
people
Balaam
and
or
Al.
people in general. But now he can see it. But then, like, what's the... I begin to understand this less and less because...
This is all just slowly deconstructing this whole story.
Man. The angel of the Lord asked him, "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? Look, I came out to oppose you because what you are doing is evil in my sight. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If she had not turned away from me, I would have killed you by now and let her live." I don't know what the goal is in this story.
Yeah, Balaam has a lot going on, and clearly he's talking to God. So he seems like a very supernatural person. And then he encounters an invisible adversary angel in a cornfield maze, and his donkey and he's going to just get angry about it all. I feel like he would, if anyone's going to understand what's happening, it would be Balaam at this point. But
yeah,
clearly he's not having it. He's ready to fight. So,
well, because Balaam was like, he responded perfectly normal to the donkey. Was like, well, yeah,
let's just kill this thing. Yeah. Just kill it.
If I had a sword right now, I'd kill you. And then the angel of the Lord appears and says, if you would have kept going, I would have killed you. But your donkey was saving you and you didn't listen to the donkey. And so if I'm Balaam, I don't know what the message is here that God's trying to send me. Is it to listen to my donkey? Is it...
Can you imagine the story just ends there, like, completely? It's just
like,
that's the whole lesson, is like, listen to your animal when it talks.
This story gets weird and then just starts making less sense.
Well, that's it. Yeah, verse 34, he says, "Then Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I did not know that you stood in the road against me. Now, therefore, if it is evil in your sight, I will turn back." And then the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but speak only the word that I tell you." So Balaam went on with the princes of Balak. So I guess he kind of apologizes for
not seeing him,
not seeing an invisible angel in a corn maze first time. Yeah, this is a great Sunday school lesson. Very, very much a take-home application kind of story. This is a preaching pastor's dream. Is this passage?
I mean, basically, what is trying to be driven home is that Balaam is to speak only what God tells Balaam to speak.
Yeah.
But it does this in this fun, paid by the word kind of way. The Bible does every now and then. Where it's just they just, for no reason, the angel of the Lord just decided to fuck with Balaam for like hot 10 minutes.
Yeah, like, what is... I understand that this story kind of keeps going. Like, he has some additional, like, visions and, like, messages from the Lord in the later chapters, but
yeah,
I am curious about, like, this interaction, like, why it's necessary. Like,
yeah, what was
the point?
What is removed? What gets lost if Balaam doesn't hear a voice coming out of the donkey? He doesn't encounter the angel of the Lord on the road.
Well, my ESV study Bible does have one sentence about this whole interaction. Because you know how they're always giving the best opinions on the most confusing verses in the Bible.
They are always...
Definitely not falling silent ever when it gets tough.
Ever. No. So tell me that one sentence, Mama.
They said, "The donkey and the angel." This is a hilarious put down of Balaam's pretensions. The international expert on magic cannot see the angel, but his donkey can. And the angel upbraids him for his temper and cruelty. The whole episode reinforces the message that Balaam must speak only the word that I tell you. I think this is like a kind of like a 50 Shades of Grey sort of lesson. Like, you just need to, you know, get in there and just do what you're told,
But the Bible doesn't mention anything about sex.
Yeah. No sex. It's just it's a contract. Yeah. Where he just needs to do whatever he says.
Whatever.
Anything. Yeah.
Anything.
I mean anything.
When you say anything, I mean
anything.
I'm not
I can't emphasize enough. I mean anything.
anything. If you're thinking about it, yes.
Whatever dirty thought you just had, yes.
Yes.
That's included. That's anything.
Yep. And that too.
Yep. And that one that just kind of went by, that's it. That one as well.
That one that you don't want to think about, yep, that one too.
That one that got you in trouble in junior high that you wrote down on a piece of paper and you passed around in the class and you had to bring it home and tell your parents about it, that one too.
And then you had to explain to your mom and your dad what it actually was and why it got you in trouble. That one too.
And then a year later, you made a crude drawing about the exact same thing, and you had to have the same conversation with your parents a whole year later, and they thought, "What's going on with our son?" And they had to get a group counselor in there together, and everything went horrible. That memory,
that one too.
That one too. So ESV Study Bible is basically saying that this is like it says hilarious, a hilarious put down.
I feel like the ESV Study Bible is gaslighting me with their description of what's going on.
No, they got everything figured out of it. That's why it's the ESV.
That it's just like, oh, well, no, this is obvious. This thing makes sense here because it's obvious the angel of the Lord is just, trying to make fun. At no point does the angel of the Lord ever mention.
Yeah, it would have been easier if the Bible
like
just said that verse or said that sentence right there. Just like, said what they said. But,
so that's why I don't believe that that's true. I think this is just, I think this little episode happened to somebody and they threw it into Balaam's story.
I am curious. I know I was joking earlier, but I do wonder if there is something in the Hebrew of Balak and Balaam, and if there is like a word play there and like how it's written and spelled. I'd have to look into that because they are, I wonder if they're similarly spelled and if there's like some kind of play between, because sometimes that has happened in the Hebrew is that it doesn't translate over to English and we missed out on some of those like kind of literary devices that they were using.
Yeah, there's when Moses technically shone. That's not in the original Hebrew. The original Hebrew for the glow that Moses actually got is that he basically grew horns.
Whoa, that's pretty badass.
So so Christians out there, next time your parents say you can't go to an AC/DC concert,
you can. Moses allows it.
Moses had horns.
Yeah, there's like some other literary devices like or even things that are missed because we just have forgotten about the translations. Like the name Adam just translates to man. It's just
translates to fella.
Just dude, just guy.
Guy.
God made a dude. But we missed that, because it's, imagine if the story, instead of giving like a, person's name, if the Bible said, and God made a person or made some folks, and that's it.
Yeah.
But we always attribute names and stuff. And I wonder if in this case, I actually do wonder if like Balaam, Balak, and Ass and Angel all have some weird like play together. I don't know. I gotta dig out my Hebrew Bible. Maybe I can find it.
And out of the angel's mouth came
ass. Out of the angel's ass came another ass.
Came
with
my
six
ass.
eyeballs.
6 eyeballs, 7 mouths, 11 wings,
38 asses.
38 asses.
Not the donkey ass either. We're talking real ass.
I serve the God of angel, or the God of asses armies.
Just imagine every time angels use it, it's actually just supposed to be ass in the Bible. There's a horrible miscalculation.
I love that. Yeah.
The ass of the Lord.
And an ass appeared before Mary.
Do not be afraid of this ass.
Do not fear.
That's so stupid. We're really appealing to our fourth grade
It's just
audience.
an actual. It's a person with an ass for a head, and it's speaking out of the ass.
And no, his name is not Butthead like we want it to be.
Now that makes sense as to why every time an angel appears in the Bible, its first thing is always like, "Don't fear,
Don't be afraid.
don't be afraid. I know I am an ass on shoulders."
Whoever smelt it, in fact, dealt it.
Dealt it. That makes the slaughter of Sodom and Gomorrah so much more terrifying.
That's the sound they make when they're like running around killing people.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know if
sounds.
it picked up into the mic at all, which makes it just means
You all
there's
might
like
just get a real
silence.
half-winded fart on this podcast. We'll find out. Oh, Lord. Well, what's your final thoughts on this passage here, Evan?
I'd send my final thoughts. I did
my time.
I did my time. No, I think this sounds like it's so out of place that this sounds like a story that happened to someone in this oral storytelling that that we just have, like that it got lumped into.
When you say it happened, do you think like a donkey talked to somebody in real life and they wrote it down?
Oh no, absolutely
okay.
not. This is just a story that some person with desert fever or like whatever hallucinated. But then like or maybe it was a story of a larger parable.
Ass.
Or maybe the original moral was to be something of like, okay, like maybe you don't always know what you're doing. Maybe listen to your donkey. It knows where it's going. If it's trying to lead you away, like it might see something down the road or smell something that you don't know. So entirely possible that
that's it. Yeah.
Entirely possible with that, but it just got lumped into the Balaam story.
He just got randomly assigned this story.
And he's just like, God, I got the donkey story, really?
Wish I had the Samson one so I could
Or
eat people.
Samson gets to be all like cool and buff, and my like donkey yells at me.
I get my foot crushed by an ass. Corn maze. It's like having my Uncle Phil. Oh man. Yeah, this was one that was always joked about growing up, like just as like a kind of a funny sort of part of the Bible, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, did people talk about this one at church ever? Like,
yeah, like it was never preached on or anything like that, but it was definitely one of those situations where it was like, there's this weird story in the Bible about, God talking through a donkey. But then like every now and then, like a pastor would get like really heated and be like, the God who talks through donkeys can talk through anyone. Something like that. Like it would make its way in those weird moments. And I guess if you just don't know that that's a story, you're just kind of sitting there like, can we back up like a little? Like,
if you're going to talk out of your ass, God's going to talk out of his ass. If you know what I mean.
And by his ass, I mean your ass.
Your
But
ass that you
I
own.
also mean his ass because he created everything.
Yeah.
But it's also the ass belongs to you. The point that
every
I was
ass
trying
is
to
God.
make-
Let's be clear. Like every ass belongs to God.
God
Everyone.
knows every blade of ass that has ever grown.
He knows every ass. He knows every hair on your ass. Every
He
single
can
one. He can count every hair on your ass. All the hairs on your ass. And yes, even the hairs you're thinking about that he can't see, he knows where they are.
Even the hairs that you don't want people to see.
Even those like that clump of 5 that kind of gets twisted and knotted in a weird way. And then there's like a little piece of toilet paper on it. He doesn't count it as one either. He knows the individual.
He
strands
knows
that make
all
it up.
5.
By name and position and coordinates.
Tom, Dick, Harry, Joanne, and Levi.
I was going to say like number 34 and 55, but you mean like actual now. It's like,
names.
so every hair on your ass has a different pronoun.
Actual Christian name.
Tom, Dick, Harry, Steve, Columbo.
Joanne. What are your final thoughts? Those are mine.
I don't even know. Yeah, I just remember, like, you know, pastors would make that quip all the time, like, well, if God can speak through a donkey, he can speak through you. You know, God's power can come through any method, any form, including ass. But
God's not afraid of ass.
God's number one tool is ass to get his message across. Ass makes this world go round.
Do you think a pastor ever got up there and his main point?
Yes. I already know the answer is yes.
Not like main point, but it did seem like a subtle point was that God likes ass stuff too.
I really don't want that to be the case. But if I'm being legitimate, I do think if you can think about a horrible sermon topic, it's definitely been preached upon. So
yeah,
I would say yes. Somebody out there has said, like, don't be into ass stuff, be into God's ass stuff or something like that. I'm sure that's been preached. Or come up with another one, Evan.
Or if it, like, oh, maybe Balaam's ass was a topic at like a husband and wife retreat. For like ass stuff. And I was like, see?
On like Tuesday night's topic, they're like, well, we're going to talk about ass stuff tonight.
We're going to talk about ass stuff. And God likes ass stuff. So
we got a verse. I'll show you.
We got a verse. We'll show you.
This one, the message after reading it is unclear of what God really wants Balaam to do. It seems unnecessary. Like he's already on the way doing what he needs to do. Like, damn, just let him do his thing.
You got in his way.
I know. That's like it seems weird. Like he's like, all right, just go follow those people. And then he's like, actually, I'm going to put an invisible angel in your way
and freak your donkey out.
Just fuck with you a little bit. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay, well, I know you're sorry, so you're gonna go with them.
Now
I was like, I was.
Keep moving. All right, you got a plan.
Nothing
right?
to see here.
Just an ass.
Just it's a nice little toy ass.
That's all I got.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. Share with anyone who likes to hear us talk about ass. And
or just anybody, just if they have like a pulse, you know.
Yeah, if they have a pulse, if they have
an internet connection.
Yeah, internet connection. Share it with them if you don't think they'll like it.
Yeah. And they don't have the internet too.
Yeah. Also share with them if they don't have the internet. Just to piss them off.
Record our episode on a record and then mail it to them and then make them listen to it.
Mail that to them and mail them also a record player.
Yep. Shipping should be pretty low.
Yeah. You know. on both of those.
Oh, get us out of here.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. My name is Evan.
And I'm Scott.
And, you know, we're just about a lot of ass and a little God.